Taser on a member of their own race relations panel. The incident involving 63-year-old Judah Adunbi has been referred to the police watchdog. Our Home Affairs correspondent Daniel Sanford told me more about what had happened.
There is an 8-minute video to show exactly what happened, and that, I think, is why it's been referred so quickly to the Independent Police Complaints Commission, because there's very little argument about what happened. It's just a decision about whether the officer's behaviour was appropriate. What happens is that Judah Adunbi is just arriving home from walking his dog when two officers come up to him and accuse him of being somebody else, or ask him if he's somebody else, in fact somebody that the police are seeking. He refuses to give them his name, and an argument ensues that lasts for several minutes, in which he goes on refusing to give them his name. He then leaves and goes to enter his house, and what you've just seen there is the moment when, as he tries to enter his house, the police pull him back out. There's a struggle that lasts literally a second or two, and then the female police officer tasers him in the face. He's hit in the face by the taser barb, falls to the ground. There's then several more minutes while he's lying on the ground saying, "My ID's just over there, why don't you check who I am?" They don't check who he is. They arrest him for assaulting a police officer, and then their colleagues arrive and he's taken off to the police station. I think at some point he was treated in hospital as well. He says that he was humiliated by the whole incident, and Avon and Somerset Police, feeling that they can't comment very much on the incident because there's now an investigation, have voluntarily referred themselves to the Independent Police Complaints Commission to look at what happened. And
this footage exists because it was on equipment worn by another police officer, or
no,
is it from, do we know where it's from?
The footage that we've seen, which has been made available to the media, was filmed by a neighbour who happened to be passing, saw what happened, got out his phone and started filming what was happening. As I say, that's about 8.5 minutes, that footage. Avon and Somerset Police say that the two officers also have body-worn cameras on, but I don't think that's going to shed much more light on the incident. The neighbour starts filming just after the whole discussion begins, but there's no suggestion at that point that there's been any violence or anything at that point. What there is a vigorous discussion in which Mr. Adunbi doesn't want to give his name, feeling he doesn't have to give the police officers his name and doesn't want to give them his name, and you see the build up to when he tries to enter his property and when the police then manhandle him out of the property. At one point he kind of raises an arm to push one of the police officers away. But that's just about it. And what's embarrassing for the police is not only that he's 63 years old, but he is this long-standing member of their independent advisory group, which is a group that many police forces have to advise them on relations between different minority groups and the police. So essentially they have tasered in the face one of their own race relations advisors.
My name. I am not telling my name. I've done no wrong. So you can't know my name. We have no choice then but to arrest you. Go on then. Because we believe you're who is wanted at the moment. Yeah, you're not willing to tell your name. No, I'm not telling my name. So how do I know you're not? Because you don't know who you're talking to now. Let me alone and go about my business. You're not telling me.
I've asked you to remain calm.
You're going to calm me. Your sergeant is going to cut down the taser me for whatever reason.
Oi. Oi!
Calm down. Listen.
He's just trying to get into his house. Leave him alone. Yeah, he just grabbed him.
Taser!
Oi!
Alright, you've been tasered, okay?
That was totally unnecessary.
Alright?
You're totally uncalled for and unnecessary. Completely.
Okay, you're under arrest.
And that's on video.
He was trying to fight.
He wasn't trying to fight, he was trying to get into his house, actually. And you started it. You made physical contact first, and it's on video.
English police race relations in the UK took a bit of a step back last week when a 63-year-old black man that works with a group attempting to mend relations between minorities and the police was tasered in the face by them on video in Bristol, England. At the time of the incident, he was returning from walking his dog. Unlike what is a tradition for American police, the dog was not murdered. Judah Adunbi, a founding member of an independent advisory group working to improve relations between the police and Afro-Caribbean communities, was dragged through a gate into the street by 2 police officers and then tasered when he refused to give his name. The unnamed officers had claimed that they thought Adunbi was another person that was wanted for unspecified crimes. Via the New York Times, Judah Adunbi was returning home last week when 2 police officers suddenly confronted him, demanding his name. When he refused to give it, they yanked him outside his gate and shot him with a taser stun gun. But Mr. Adunbi was not the wanted suspect whom officers were seeking. He is a 63-year-old black race relations advisor who has worked to improve ties between police officers and the black people in Bristol, about 120 miles west of London. Britain's police watchdog agency announced on Friday that it was opening an investigation into the episode, which was caught on video by a neighbor. The video, which spread rapidly on social media, reignited criticisms against the police over the use of force against blacks. According to race relations campaigners and data provided by the Home Office, black people are 3 times more likely to have a taser used against them than white people. The video showed officers telling Mr. Adunbi that they think he is wanted. "I'm not telling you. I've done no wrong," he replied. One officer said, "So I have no choice then but to arrest you. Leave me alone and let me go among my business," Mr. Adunbi said, trying to bat them away. As he tried to get to his home through a gate, the officers dragged him outside into the street and fired their stun gun. One of the officers later told the neighbor, Tom Cherry, "He was trying to fight us." Speaking to The Guardian about the episode, Mr. Adunbi, a founding member of an independent advisory group working to improve relations between the police and Afro-Caribbean community, said, "At first, you don't accuse someone of being someone else. You ask questions. The first thing they should have done is come to me in a polite manner. The way they approached me, they were accusing me. That is wrong." Describing the taser's impact, Mr. Adunbi said, "I heard this sound and felt something hit me below the lip. I collapsed on the ground. I was paralyzed. I couldn't speak or move and didn't have any strength in me. She then told me to get up. I knew if she fired again it would have killed me. They tried to lift me off the ground. They raised me up and leaned me up against a garage, but I started to slide down. It's the grace of God that I'm still alive. She has done a very terrible thing to me." Chief Superintendent Riley said that the community was going to have concerns and that police would really like to answer those. Sarah Ogilvie, policy officer at Liberty, a human rights advocacy group, told the media that incidents like this are deeply disturbing. Warm words about working with communities mean nothing if officers aren't willing to practice what they preach. So, this would probably be the appropriate time to say # not Thenian. The reason you know this isn't fake news is because you just can't make this kind of shit up.